We start this hour with the U.S. using intelligence to fight an information war and doing it to Russia for months now, and it's working. NBC News national security correspondent Ken Dilanian live in Washington. Ken, I want to start by giving people an example of what this is so they know what we're talking about. Take a look.
They're also suggesting that Ukraine has biological and chemical weapons in Ukraine. That's a clear sign he's considering using both of those.
Ken, can you explain to our viewers what was going on there and what NBC News has learned about that claim this week from 3 different U.S. officials?
Yeah, that was a great example of what we're talking about. That was based on declassified intelligence, but we're also told the intelligence wasn't very clear about what exactly was going on. And they decided to disclose it as a way of deterring Russia from doing that and putting the world on notice that this could happen. And that's what's going on here, the big picture. This is an unprecedented use of declassified intelligence. We've never seen this level of information warfare before from the U.S. government. And what they're doing is they're trying to preempt the Russians, get ahead of Russian disinformation, even mess with Vladimir Putin's brain, as one person put it, leave him off balance to try to show that the United States knows what Russia is up to and is going to get ahead of it. It's really rather remarkable. Another example was when they announced that Russia had gone to China to ask for help with getting some weapons. That hasn't come to pass yet, and it was almost a way of putting China on notice. Hey, we know what's going on here. Don't let this happen. So really interesting and unprecedented use of intelligence here, Allison.
Yeah, Ken, as you just said, not just intelligence here, unprecedented use. One U.S. official telling you it doesn't even have to be solid intelligence when we talk about it. It's more important to get out ahead of them. Putin specifically, before they do something, it's preventative. What else have you learned about that strategy?
Well, you know, that may have been a little too candid for some folks at the White House. Their message is basically everything we say is vetted and rock solid. And there is a process. It's run by the National Security Council. It's so robust that the Director of National Intelligence and other intelligence agencies have had to surge staff and resources to this declassification process because they have to scrub this intelligence to make sure that whatever they're releasing doesn't expose sources and methods. But that source was absolutely correct. It's clear what the strategy is here, is to get stuff out that is designed to, again, show the Russians, the United States knows what they're doing, put the world on notice that this is happening. Remember, they talked about that false flag operation that they thought Russia was going to try to do at the start of the invasion. That never came to pass, but that may have been preempted by the U.S. releasing that information, Allison.
Ken, these information leaks, as you've said, may have delayed Russia's invasion by weeks, even months, which sounds great. That is a good thing. But what are the pros and cons here? How could something like this backfire?
Well, that was a great example because by saying to the world that U.S. intelligence shows that Russia is poised to invade, that was a big risk, because if they had been wrong, we would all be saying, oh, there's another case where U.S. intelligence blew it, Iraq WMD, and now this. But they were right. And as a matter of fact, for example, France, the military intelligence agency there, they predicted that Russia would not invade. The head of that agency had to resign over that. So that was a great call, a risky call, though. The risk here is if the U.S. gets something demonstrably wrong, it really would undermine American credibility and plays right into Moscow's hands. So far, that hasn't happened, Alex.
Ken, more news on Russia, this time from the Justice Department. The DOJ has charged a Russian oligarch with evading U.S. sanctions from 2014, also taking down a Russian computer network called Botnet. The DOJ really busy here. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, this was a big announcement. First of all, charging that Russian oligarch with sanctions violations. It's really interesting because oligarchs have been doing this for years, right? This is how they get around sanctions. They use proxies, they use relatives, they put their money in LLCs. It can violate U.S. law. It's rarely prosecuted. Now the DOJ is putting resources into going after this, and they're saying this is only the beginning. On the botnet, that's like a network of computers that can be used for offensive cyber operations, can really wreak havoc. They said they took that one down before it even got off the ground. They said it was run by Russian intelligence. And lastly, Merrick Garland talked about potential war crimes and prosecutions of war crimes. Take a listen to what the Attorney General had to say.
Our message to those who continue to enable the Russian regime through their criminal conduct is this. It does not matter how far you sail your yacht. It does not matter how well you conceal your assets. It does not matter how cleverly you write your malware or hide your online activity. The Justice Department will use every available tool to find you, disrupt your plots, and hold you accountable.
That's a pretty significant threat to some of these oligarchs who have been operating with impunity around the world, even while under sanctions. We'll have to see whether the DOJ can deliver on that, because all these people have very good lawyers, and these are labor-intensive cases, Allison.
Ken, covering a whole lot for us today, including that very interesting strategy from the White House. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.